Hi, I'm Reverend Oli Preston from the parish of St Peter's Halliwell in Bolton, bringing you our next daily thought. Today we're looking at Hebrews chapter 11, so well worth going and having a read of that. A big long chapter for us to think about today, but it's because it talks about at length the idea of faith and links loads of stories into this. It starts, now faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. I think because it talks about being certain and about things that we don't see, quite often we can end up reducing what we mean by faith or believing in something to being about what I think and what I agree with in my mind, to being just about ideas, about having the right ideas. But for me, actually, I think faith can be much more usefully and helpfully considered in terms of trust. It's about having confident hope in a person and about the action that goes from that. Recently, we as a family have had to trust people a lot. A lot of us have had to start trusting one another. We've been on the shielding isolation, so we've now been shut up for, I can't even think how many weeks. But one of the biggest things for me and one of the biggest hurdles has been having to trust other people with our shopping. We've had some really lovely friends, some fantastic church family members who have been so good, looked after us really well, but we've been quite vulnerable because we've been having to totally trust other people for our most basic needs of bread and milk and our everyday shopping, having to rely on other people. And so for me, that's been having to put faith in them. I've had to trust that others are going to be good, that they're going to be reliable. And as I write my shopping list and hand it over in faith that something is going to come back, that we're going to have the food that we need, they've had to put trust in me as well. They've had to believe in me that as I send them out to ask them to buy these things, that when they come back with these bags of shopping, I'm going to have some money, that they're not going to be stood on the doorstep with an empty hand. And so this, I think, is a helpful way of thinking about faith, that it's not just the idea that I know I can trust my friends, but actually recently I've had to really put my faith in them in a much fuller way. I've had to exercise that faith, and it's been in action. I think for me, faith is more than just agreeing with the right ideas. That faith is also fundamentally about a relationship. And that faith almost always goes hand in hand with action. And so here in chapter 11 of the book of Hebrews, we see the writer to the Hebrews talking at length about all the different great heroes of faith, and not saying, oh, and look, they understood that properly and they got that idea, but talking about the action that flowed from how much they trusted God. That Abraham trusted God even though he didn't have all the law, didn't have all the stories, but that he trusted God, and so when God said it's time for you to move out from here and go to a different place, Abraham followed. That Noah built an ark, trusting that God was true and good and watching out for him, built an ark in a desert. Moses led the people out of Egypt. Rahab was rescued because she trusted and joined with the people of Israel, even though she was from a different people. Faith is about trust. Faith is about a relationship, not just having the right ideas. And for me, that's a fundamental part of the Christian life. That part of being a Christian is not just knowing God, but trusting that God is good, that God is trustworthy, and then choosing to live that out. So for me, I choose to get to know God, to get to know him better in my head, but also to get to know him in my heart, to invest in that relationship. I choose to learn to know his voice and to trust that if God asks me to do something, even if it seems difficult, even if it seems risky, that I follow. I live his way and I do what he asks me, because that is my faith in action. And so I pray that you might learn to know God, but not just with your head, but with your life. And that for you, faith might be something that comes real at this time. God bless.